Great Muhammad Ali once said that a man who has no imagination has no wings. Albert Einstein once also said that imagination is more important than knowledge because knowledge is limited, whilst imagination encircles the world. Hello, viewers. Welcome to Mr. Hero Podcast. Joining me are Emanuela and Benjamin. Today is going to be very interesting. Make sure you share, you like, and subscribe to our page, which is Mr. Hero Podcast. God bless you so much. Stay tuned. Hello, welcome to Mr. Hero Podcast once again.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
Yes, thank you. I hope everything is going on well.
Yeah, by God's grace, everything is going well. How about you? I hope it's
I'm
going
good.
well.
I'm good. Yeah.
All right, I'm glad.
Sure. Benjamin, please, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's nice to have you for the first time on Mr. Hero Podcast.
This is my first time. But
Sure.
glad to be here.
Oh, that is amazing. Yeah. And I hope you are prepared to share something unique to our audience today.
Yeah, I have my detailed research.
Wow.
To share here today.
Then it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so Stella, I would love to start with you. Yeah.
Okay, pleasure is mine.
ladies first.
Okay.
So please, when we say the power of imagination, how do you understand that? Or what do you have in brief on this topic?
Okay. I would say that the power of imagination is the power or ability of the mind to create possibilities or visualize possibilities that are beyond the current reality. So the power of it is how effective that can be in creating your reality.
Oh, that is amazing. That is amazing.
That's what I would say.
Sure. Brother Benjamin, and do you have anything brief on this topic? Being it a definition or anything?
So, to add on to what she said,
Mm.
the imagination is the power of the mind to create, as she said, to visualize. And this is out of nothing.
Sure.
Yeah. So, with contextually, with our knowledge on this universe,
Mm.
we create from something.
Okay.
Okay. But then imagination is very special in this case because we did not create from something, but it's out of nothing. It's just out of the mind's arsenal.
Sure.
We create things into being.
Okay. That is amazing. That is amazing. And today when I was coming here, I decided to ask this: that have you imagined something, and later on it became a reality? Do you have anything in common like that?
Yes, I have a lot of things.
Okay, tell us about that.
Okay.
Mm.
First off, I run an academy, right? Women of
Yeah.
Influence Academy. So that started from imagination. And I believe every single thing that is existent today started from imagination.
Yeah.
And I have, should I say, a differing opinion or a slightly different opinion from saying imagination is out of nothing. I think it depends. Some imaginations are out of nothing and some are out of something.
Mhm.
Because for you to create, I think there are types of imagination. And I think the one that is out of something is like structural, where you analyze what is, the ones you can see or the thing you can see. And then from that, you ask what could be from this, what can be different. So I believe it's still your imagination that you are engaging to create a new possibility, but then it's not vague. It's coming from what you've seen and maybe limitations, of that thing. But then there's also the kind of imagination that starts or comes with creating something that is never existent. However, in a group chat of mine, it's next generation of transformed leaders, we were having a conversation and this was our argument. So I was saying that imagination is not vague, it's not out of nothing, because there's always a reference point, not in full. And then the other person was saying that it's out of nothing, it's totally new and all of that.
Yeah.
I'm still having
I get your point. So, brother Benjamin, right? Do you have something to buttress your point on this?
Because I thought that when I say out of nothing, I mean the material.
okay.
Visualizing whatever it is.
It's not tangible.
Tangible, yeah, I get you. All right.
But then imagination is good. Like what you said,
That's very nice. I heard you talking about types of imaginations.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can take us through that.
Okay, there are a lot.
Okay,
But
so give
the
us
one I
like
paid,
three.
the one I paid attention to
Mm.
was the structural imagination. I believe there's
Okay.
also constructive
Imagination,
imagination
okay.
that is looking at what is present and then developing it. And then the structural comes with the whole hierarchy of imagination. And then there are several others, but I only paid attention to these two. There's also the intellectual kind of imagination. I saw another one, empathy, as a type of imagination. So there are other types actually.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I think we will get an episode on that so that you take us through the types. I want to ask this general question: knowledge and imagination, which one is the most important thing to pursue? Or
Should I go
one?
first or should he go first?
Oh, it's a general question.
I'd
So
like to go
All
first.
right.
yeah.
So I'd like to reference a quote by Albert Einstein.
Okay.
He said, "Imagination is important than knowledge."
Okay.
Right? Not throwing knowledge away,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but then knowledge it's limited.
Sure.
And what you mean by that is, so knowledge is what we've acquired, the data, information we've acquired from past experience.
Yeah.
Right. And then imagination is to take take knowledge as a map. The terrain upon which this map has been drawn
Mm.
is imagination.
Okay.
Right. And then the map is knowledge.
Mm.
So knowledge is showing you the house, how it works, where to go. The
Sure.
knowledge is the already explored portion of it. And then the whole terrain is imagination. Because there are things beyond our scope. So as we progress further in life, there are new knowledge that comes about.
Mm.
And that's as to the experiences we've had.
Yeah.
Do you get? So he saying knowledge is limited and imagination is powerful. It's kind of opening us to the fact that we shouldn't do away with imagination as how society has made it so frivolous. Like
Yeah.
imagination is daydreaming. So
Fantasy.
do you get?
Yeah.
So we made imagination this kind of trivial thing.
Okay.
To some extent, it has been made. If you are imagining, you are distracted.
Yeah.
But that's a conscious cycle going on in the mind. It's a whole neuroscience topic going on in there.
Yeah.
You understand? Right. So what he meant by that was we shouldn't take imagination out.
Yeah.
Right. It was this imagined principle that brought about the knowledge we have today.
Yeah.
Gravity, Einstein, he knew about gravity, but he didn't know how to relate that to
Yes.
the orbit of Mercury
Sure.
around the solar system.
Exactly.
Right. So the knowledge was there, but then the imagination also helps us build upon that knowledge. That curiosity that is in us, is instilled in us,
Sure.
that gives us this whole mental perspective. What if? Let us ask these questions. What if? How so? That's so imagination is more important than knowledge.
Yeah.
Not that we are throwing knowledge away, but we cannot have knowledge without imagining what could be.
Okay. Amazing. So with this, can I say somebody will not go to school because basically we know that we go to school for knowledge.
Yeah.
Yes. So for instance, somebody will say, "Oh, I wouldn't go to school," and then I'll base on my imagination and then do whatever I do. Are you sure this person can become successful with just that, or the person needs both?
So right. So let's backtrack a bit.
Mm.
So there are two types of knowledge. And then
Okay.
there are various ways we acquire knowledge.
Yeah.
Right. So we purposely go to school to be educated.
Sure.
Right. So that's intellectual knowledge
Mm.
that we get in the classroom. There are forms of knowledge.
Yeah.
Our forefathers, some of them were even privy to intellectual institutions like schools and
Sure.
all of it. But then they still gain knowledge in their own way.
Yeah.
And some of them have created a whole new generation of they built on a whole generation, which to this day that generations are still successful.
Mm.
Right. So I mean, knowledge when applied, yes, would pave a path to success.
Okay.
But not going to school doesn't mean you're not acquiring knowledge. Yeah. They are going to school to get
Sure.
educated.
So let me say the knowledge we acquire at school is a type of knowledge, right?
Can I
Okay.
come in?
Sure, sure.
In my head, I don't know why I want to contradict. Is that the right word? or go not necessarily against, but bring a new perspective to Albert Einstein's definition or what you quoted. You mentioned that he is the one that said it, the quote here. He mentioned that knowledge is important and imagination is important, but imagination is greater because knowledge is limited to what you can see experientially, right?
And what you know alone.
What you know, thank you. Whilst imagination is wild, you can go as far as you can. There's no limit. But if you're talking about greatness, should the product of something be greater than the source?
Should the product of something
be greater than the source originally? Because I believe that with imagination, you said there are different kinds of knowledge, right? I think we are kind of restricting knowledge, but what is knowledge? So I believe that knowledge is the right kind of information. That's just like a summary of what knowledge is. It is information, but then related to a particular thing, and it has to be the right thing. That is knowledge. So if that is knowledge, in my definition, I don't know if it's a general definition. Can we look up the original definition of knowledge right now so I can work with context?
So the definition of knowledge is like this. So it's the collection of facts, information, and understanding that you have acquired through experience, education, or reasoning.
Thank you very much. So he said it's a collection of facts, information and understanding that you have acquired through experience, education, and the rest. Now, if that is the case, we are talking about imagination now. And we said imagination can come from nothing, but really it's not necessarily nothing. And you framed nothing as material things, the things that are tangible. If we are saying that imagination is greater than knowledge, I think we are limiting knowledge to a perspective, or in a way. Let me explain what I mean. What I mean by this is knowledge is beyond the things we can see right now. When you are imagining something, like I said, it's not really out of nothing. You saw a problem. That problem is knowledge. You're getting an information from that problem. So it's a source. And now you're thinking of how you can solve the problem. Now you're engaging your imagination. You saw something, it's not right. That's source. That is the source. It gives you a kind of knowledge. It's an information that now informs your imagination of thinking of something that's possible. Oh, you saw people who are very stranded, like Moses in the Bible, who saw an Israelite and an Egyptian fighting, and then he went to intervene. That was a problem. Whatever thing he picked from that was information. That is knowledge, per the definition. So we now say that the source is lesser or less important than the product. Because if you ask me, I believe imagination always or most of the time comes from something, and that something is knowledge, even if it is not in the typical intellectual knowledge. It can be experiential.
Okay, let me come in a little bit. For instance, the imagination that we are talking about, for my understanding, you can imagine through your mind. Do you get it? And I learned that the mind is not tangible.
Okay.
So if it is not tangible, then I think per his definition is making sense. But I see that after putting it into practice, whereby it becomes a reality, that's when the tangibility comes in.
So we are determining what is great and what is not great based on its tangibility.
So are you talking about the end product after imagining, or?
I think this is a perspective. Our basis of determination right now is based on what is tangible and not tangible.
Yeah,
that's fine. The perspective I'm coming from is what sponsors what.
Okay, which
the
one
source,
is greater than
the based other? On what sponsors is, that's the source and the product.
So if I'm getting what is the source?
The source is always knowledge.
No, I beg to differ on that.
Okay.
Knowledge, in the definition we acquired, is acquired from experiences, right? So something is happening to you.
Yeah.
To first get the knowledge of that, you have to have a mental intent.
The thing that's happening to you already informs you. That is knowledge. It's a kind of knowledge.
Yes, but you have to understand what is happening first.
Understanding comes after you've gotten the knowledge.
Good. So understanding comes after you've gotten the knowledge.
Yeah.
There's a prerequisite to getting the knowledge.
Yeah.
Right. So now you have to think, okay, so why is this hurting me? You are being chased by a dog. Why
Yeah.
is it chasing you? You've overstepped your bounds.
Sure.
Let's
Right. So,
okay.
so now you know if you go there, the dog will follow you.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Right. So now you know that going there warrants the dog for attacking you.
Sure.
So that's now knowledge. But now you thought about it more. So why did the dog chase me in the first place? So you have acquired, you've understood the situation you found yourself in, and you've acquired knowledge from that, right? And then, so with your imagination, you're able to decipher
Yeah.
and see how best to go about that problem.
Sure.
You understand? So I beg to differ, and I would say imagination is actually the source, and then knowledge is the product. Because to first solve something, to first even acquire knowledge on something, you need to have a vague idea about it.
Yeah, me too. I have my own perspective.
A vague idea about it.
That's
Yeah.
Out of
that's-
nothing.
I'm not saying out of nothing.
Okay.
So thinking in your head, right? Thinking, picturing, creating a mental image in your head, right?
Yeah.
Of course, it's a chemical process, but I'm talking about what goes in the mind. That's what I mean out of nothing. But it's actually not out of nothing. But materialistically, it's out of nothing.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that the basis of our definition right now, based on Albert Einstein, is its tangibility
All right. Tangibility.
only.
Right. Explain it.
That's what I explained.
No, like,
Okay.
simplify it for me.
So we are now defining what is greater than which based on whether we can see it or not, because people would usually say what you can't see is greater than what you can see.
Right. Debate.
So I understand, I'm not debating that is not true. I understand that. I am saying that there's also another aspect
Right.
with imagination and knowledge, where knowledge is not restricted to something you've learned. It's any kind of information and your interpretation of that information. And understanding actually comes after you've gotten the knowledge. You were talking about getting hurt. Once you get hurt, that is an information that your brain processes. You feel it stings. That is information. And that is a knowledge. That is knowledge, rather. Before you start thinking and processing and trying to understand, oh, why this stung me? Why did I feel pain here? What can I do next time to? So I'm coming with a whole different opinion to counter, not necessarily counter, but to bring a perspective to Albert Einstein's claim.
One of the
Yeah.
smartest, most knowledgeable physicists you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Sure. And let me bring how I understand this thing to me. For me, I see that imagination gets its source from the mind. So I see that everything that you can imagine, the mind has to process it and then give you that practicability, or like give you that, oh, maybe I don't know how to put this, for you to know that it is possible, it's achievable. So imagination will come from the mind. For instance, let me bring it to the into our practical world. For instance, Elon Musk will sit down and imagine and say that, okay, I want to have another planet. He is imagining, but he need people who are more knowledgeable to fuel that. But if he bring these people on board, they are still under him. Now, we are not saying that he did it or he was able to create a planet there directly. He did it through engineers and other stuffs, but everybody will see him as hero because he brought the idea.
Yeah.
But people came in with what knowledge. For instance, let me use this studio for example.
Yeah.
Somebody will come here, he's very good, you see that this person, he's very intelligent. Then he will come and share his idea. After everything, they will go online and see Mr. Hero podcast. They will not see his name there, but he is giving out the knowledge, the wisdom, everything in the podcast. But it doesn't belong to him because he did not imagine that, okay, oh, let me do this or that. But you could see that he is fueling everything
Right.
with knowledge on the podcast. But he did not imagine to do some at this point. I'm not saying that such people are not, intelligent or they are not thinking far.
Yes.
But I'm just trying to explain the point. I don't know whether you get me.
I totally-
Okay. So using your same analogy.
Yeah.
So knowledge is the fuel.
Sure.
Imagination the engine.
Exactly.
Do you get? So you need the fuel to run the engine. Do you understand?
Sure.
So if the fuel is there, the engine will just be there. So those two work hand in hand.
Exactly.
You understand? But the engine, looking at the bigger picture, the engine is a bigger picture compared to the fuel. Right? You can have your engine running, and then there are even types of fuel, as we say, types of knowledge.
Yeah.
You understand? So, as he was saying, he might not know his the capacity at which he operates on, right? And then he will settle for something less. That's due to his imagination. He's not picturing himself at a higher height.
You're coming from where I come from.
Yeah, higher heights. Like, I totally understand what you are saying. I am not disputing that it is true.
Right.
I'm just saying that I think it limits what knowledge is.
But knowledge is limited, actually.
The definition of what knowledge is.
As compared to imagination, knowledge is limited.
I'm not comparing it to imagination. I'm talking about what knowledge is.
What knowledge is.
Knowledge is a knowing.
Right.
So you gave the example of like say the person who had an imagination to build this studio and then give room for knowledgeable people with knowledge, knowledgeable people to host it and then keep it running.
Yeah.
But you see, the person who created this studio first saw a gap.
And that was imagination.
The gap he saw was from something existent. So let's say, people are trying to put their views out there. I don't know, you people are not getting where I'm coming from.
I'm getting you,
People are trying, I'm coming please. People are trying to, let's say we have a problem, and the problem is that there's no broadcast. Let's say you can't broadcast from your place or from your house.
Right.
And then the person believes that, the people with a lot of knowledge, people that are very intelligent, they need a forum or a place to be able to share their knowledge. That is an information that now makes him begin to imagine, so how can I solve this problem? How can I create this studio? Because now we are limiting knowledge to the technicalities, like you said, knowledgeable people. We are limiting what knowledge is. Except I'm getting the definition of knowledge wrong, but I believe knowledge comes from the root word knowing. Yeah. So the fact that he knows that there is a gap is a kind of knowledge.
Yes. Yeah. Understand what you're saying?
Yes.
Like on a comparative scale to imagination, right?
Based on tangibility, imagination is greater.
Right. So you understand what you're saying all along?
I've been saying it here. I've been saying based on tangibility, imagination is greater, but I'm bringing a different perspective.
Right.
That is what I said. I've said it severally.
Right.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's move on from this point, because if we dwell here.
I wanted to ask this question. Okay. For instance, where do you imagine to be in the next 5 years?
Where do I imagine to be in the next 5 years?
I like that question.
Okay. I wouldn't want to put my dreams and visions and aspirations out there. But let's say I imagine to be a very great and impactful leader. Yeah.
And I can see that now you can't see that, right?
Visibly, yes.
Yes, you can't see that. Maybe, for instance, or let me make it simple. For me, maybe in the next 5 years, I want to be in UK. But my bank account, I don't even have 1,000 cedis in there. You see that? Yeah. So here, I don't see the power of knowledge here, but I see the power of imagination. So that one will give me that faith. That will give me that, strength, or let me say, that focus. That okay, if I want to travel to UK, then I have to do that and that. Do you get it? Because I'm imagined to be there, and for you to be there, you have to get this certain amount and buy your plane ticket and stuff. So I don't see knowledge in here. You just have to imagine. Keep the brain working. Do you get it? So the knowledge is, okay, I've acquired knowledge in filling this bottle with water. I'm limited to that. That's my knowledge. But the imagination is beyond it. Are you getting it? So knowledge, when knowledge comes in, it limits you in a way. For instance, if you want to travel to UK, as I said, I don't know the importance of knowledge in here.
But you see, the
Where will you
existence
use,
of UK is a knowledge.
Yes,
The
yes,
fact that people have gone to UK before gives you a possibility that that is possible. Even if nobody has gone to UK before, there are several components of knowledge that even
No,
sponsor
that place
your
is
imagination.
it's my climax. Like, it's the place I have desired to be.
I'm saying the existence
So for
of
me-
UK, the fact that you know that there's a UK, it's a
that's
kind of knowledge.
So I'm saying that if you take it from that aspect, you are mixing it. For instance, I am below that, and I'm imagining to be there. I've not seen the place
But
before.
you've heard people go to UK before.
Yes, but me,
That
I've
is
not
knowledge.
been there.
That is knowledge.
So
I'm
that's-
not talking about the power of knowledge. I'm just talking about the definition of knowledge. We are here to talk about the power of imagination. So imagination is what propels you to the UK or makes you get there eventually. But you even, like you said, thinking of, knowing that there's a UK is a knowledge.
Knowing what to get, knowing how you have to secure your passport, your visa, it's knowledge. How
So
to
I would
really
say,
go about
I would just summarize this by saying both of them are interconnected
Yeah.
and very important. But then based on tangibility, as Dave said, imagination is greater, because if we draw here,
Because one thing I know is knowledge gives you what its power can, do.
to
For instance,
find.
Yeah.
you understand that.
Yes.
For instance, I have knowledge in editing. After the editing, it doesn't go beyond that. But the imagination, I can imagine that I can build a podcast, as I said. I will need people on board to film and stuff. You see that? So the imagination is it's a pool that everybody runs into and then swim. You see that thing? So it's a big thing. I don't know why you want us to understand that knowledge is also powerful as compared to that
yes,
of imagination.
based on source and product, like I said, imagination comes from something, either a limitation or a gap. But I don't want to dwell here on this topic. Let's move on.
Limitation or that. Mind you, imagination is limitless.
It comes from
Yeah.
knowing a limitation, and then you create a limitless possibility.
Right.
It's a perspective. It can come from something that is limiting, and then you think, how can I stop making this limiting? And then you can think as far and as wide, like you said, limitless,
Right.
to be able to fulfill it. But I think we are trivializing knowledge. That is
No,
my
yeah,
problem.
No,
It feels like it.
no.
When
If
Because
you
you're
imagine
saying,
big, that's when
imagination can exist on its own, and you can dream far and wide, and then knowledge only comes in
something-
after you're done imagining.
Something is big, right? And it seems small until you compare it to something big. Imagine, knowledge is not trivial. You are not trivializing it.
Okay.
Comparatively with to compare it with imagination. That's what we are talking about.
I didn't want to say what I want to say now because a lot of people have imagined being billionaires and trillionaires and
Yeah.
And that's
traveling
that's
around the
wonderful
world.
thing about
Imagination, very beautiful,
Yeah.
very wonderful.
Right.
But you see, without the right knowledge, you can't get there.
And without experience, there's no knowledge. Are you aware? Without data, there's no knowledge.
Yes.
And without experiences, you can imagine. You can even simulate the experiences. Take for instance, before you go on a trip, I don't know what you call it, vacation.
Yeah, vacation,
Yeah.
trips, and all
Field
that.
trip.
I can't sleep. So talking about going to the UK, the day I'll go to the, I know I'll go sleep, but I'll imagine what will feel like, how the plane will take off from there. But I've not been there, mind you.
There was a statement you made that made me make that statement I made, but it looks like I've forgotten that statement. Yeah, I've forgotten. You
But-
said something that made me talk about the greatness of knowledge, that you can imagine far and wide, but then without the right knowledge, you can't accomplish it.
And one thing I also know is imagination has something like spiritual backing.
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
I've seen this thing that you imagine that, okay, this year I want to buy this car. You yourself, everything shows that you don't have that money. All of a sudden, things will come in place. Bam, 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 bam. Car. The car key is there.
I mean, the world is
You understand?
Yeah.
But with your knowledge, okay, I repair laptops. So, okay, I'm repairing and then we'll be saving. So when? Benz.
Sorry,
Then
I
you
think
work for a very long time. But if you have a powerful imagination, that one, I don't know how it works. I need spiritual
like
people
a
to
driving force.
like.
Okay.
It's like a magnet.
yeah.
For instance, let me say this and then try it. Maybe in your head you've not realized that there are a lot of brown cars in Sunyane. One day, just put it in mind that okay, today there is no the brown cars in Sunyane are not many. So let me try and count. you get like 1,000. You see that? So imagination keeps you focused. You know, okay, oh, you have imagined this, it is possible. Then you'll be dreaming it. You sit down and say, "Hi, me be in my car. When I get to the traffic, me cry, I won't wait to." Then you see that thing, and it also give you some sort of excitement.
Yeah.
Do you get it? But with the knowledge, sometimes I see that it limits you a lot. It limits you a lot. For instance, in business, you know how to sell. Okay, so you're depending on that one alone to build your family, to build your houses and everything. That one is not
Okay, I
enough.
think I'm understanding the knowledge you are talking about. You're talking about like knowing how to do something. That is limited.
Yeah.
It's not the definition of knowledge. It is more like knowing how to do something. I think that this is where the whole misunderstanding is coming from. I'm coming from
Okay,
the
so-
actual definition of knowledge, whilst you people are coming from the ability to know how to do something, which is also beautiful. But now I'm getting the perspective, so I can work with that perspective.
So let's go. Oh, you are done.
Yes. So when you said something, you were talking about how you can imagine something and before you know it, boom, it's a reality.
Yeah.
So I kind of have a framework for it. I'm going to link it with scripture. So the first thing is your imagination. You're thinking, you're pondering. Like you said, imagination, you're creating what is not there, solving the problems in your head. Your mind is working. So from imagination, you then go to belief. You know, the Bible says that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And then the Bible also says that God will do exceedingly abundantly all that we can say or imagine. So I believe that imagination, in a way, is on par with words. So now, when you imagine, what you continually imagine creates your belief system because it tells you what is possible. Some people, I can say, in the next 5 years, I'm becoming a billionaire. You might not believe me.
Oh, me.
But-
Okay, maybe I'll believe.
But I
5
know,
years,
based on the things I've imagined, based on the things I know about myself, about what God has said, I believe it.
And how
So-
hard you are trying.
Yeah, so my imagination has sponsored a belief system. Now, the Bible also says that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So we have gone from imagination, you're thinking about it, you have your belief system. Based on that knowing, now I see myself as a billionaire, even if I don't have it tangible yet, I'll begin to speak things. So maybe I'm drinking Gary and I'm like, in the next 5 years now, I know I won't be doing this anymore. I'm speaking words. And the Bible says that the words we speak are spirit and they are life.
Yeah.
And so I begin to speak words. From imagination, now I'm speaking, I'm pronouncing it, and they are being registered. And now my whole senses, everything is listening. My ears can hear it now. I'm speaking the reality. And I saw someone say that, is it your body or the universe doesn't know the difference between subconscious and...
You
Yeah.
might actually
Subconscious
Yeah.
and unsubconscious.
Yeah.
You're imagining something.
And or you're experiencing it. So now I'm beginning to speak it. Now what I begin to speak is already my belief system, and then it begins to sponsor my action.
Yeah.
So now I see myself as a leader. I'm saying I am a leader, I'm a billionaire, and then there's some things I would not do and the things I would do because now I see myself as a billionaire, and my actions becomes my habits. And atomic habits, you know how powerful habits
Yeah.
it is. The
Small,
more
small habits.
exactly. So when I do that thing repeatedly over and over again, it becomes my identity. And then my identity comes before the actions though, but then it forms my character based on
Yeah.
my belief system and what I'm doing. And then before time, you begin to see what I imagine begin to manifest because it has moved from imagination to my belief systems, to the words I speak, to the actions, the way I carry myself. And then I'm acting based on that possibility. It can happen. So what and what needs to come together to make it happen? So I believe that is how imagination works. That's why the Bible says we should be very careful with what we think. Because aside from the whole process, even God cares our thoughts. The Tower of Babel,
Yeah.
they proposed in their hearts they were going to build a tower to reach heaven. If it wasn't possible, why did God destroy that tower? He would have left them.
That's a topic.
Yeah.
That's a discussion for another
They
day.
said it's, some people say it's in the mind, they just imagined it. While some people said they started building it already. But then it shows you how broad and how powerful your imagination is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also see that imagination has this power to put you on your toes.
Yeah.
So like,
You dare not.
like your
For instance,
motivation. Or
yes.
like conscious check out.
but I think both because for instance, you want to be a billionaire, and every weekends you go out and spend the money that.
How would you?
How will you become? But you always imagine that you want to be like these people. So always you're working hard, always you're putting things in place. But those who are not having vision and, let me say, imagination, they just settle with this little that they have, and then they, forget everything. But if you imagine, next year I want to be here, next 4 years I want to be here, always you're busy, and those people always, they'll fight with their partners because always you're focused on your vision. I want to make this. Okay, this month I said that for me to buy a Land Cruiser, I have to save like 20,000, and you've not been able to get it. Me like this, I was people. You see that? Like, I have to meet it. So imagination is very powerful, and I want everybody to imagine big. That one there, there's
dream big.
Yeah, the sky is not the limit.
Yeah, it's the starting point.
Okay.
I missed a particular step when I was giving the steps. So from imagination, before it goes to belief system, it goes to visualization.
Yeah.
So I think imagination without visualization is somehow incomplete in manifestation. Now visualization is moving from, oh my goodness, it's moving from, I want to have a very big duplex, a skyscraper in the next 5 years, to how will it feel like when I have the skyscraper? So when you watch a lot of videos of people teaching you how to manifest wealth, they tell you a lot to think about how it will look like if you have $1 million in your account. Where would you go to? What kind of cars will you drive? What kind of house will you live in? So that is visualization. So from imagination, we'd have to go to visualization. I think that now puts you on your toe, because now in your mind you've tasted what it feels like to have that thing, and you're like, I need to get it to have the experiential feeling of it.
But with all the steps, the guidelines listed, everything happens. It's like a whole process that keeps going on. The brain doesn't rest. It's a whole process that keeps going on subconsciously. So you'd sometimes see yourself slipping into that subconscious, and then that becomes your consciousness, and then that's what we term as daydreaming. So it's a system, it's kind of like a back end that keeps running, that profiles you every day with what you do, with the habits you do. So from the experiences you have, it's every day, it's simultaneously running simulations in your head. So that's how it's easy to just slip in that subconsciousness, and then you find yourself being distracted. But that's not distraction, that's you slipping into your it's a whole neuroscience thing, but it's slipping into your
who are the scientists?
Adrenaline.
Okay.
Right. So you are walking in a dark place, and you see someone with a mask. Your brain has already dropped adrenaline. That's already simulated the worst case scenario. So before the person even tries attacking you, the adrenaline is already in your blood. Right? So that's how powerful the mind is. That's how powerful our imagination is. And thanks to the fact that it's flexible, their construct can change. Right. So talking to a therapist, talking to someone, it actually helps, because now you are being exposed to a different view. Right. What if you fail? What if you don't? Right. You're afraid you mess up. Messing up is actually like a building block. It's a foundation. You mess up, you learn from that. You keep going. It's not perfect. Right. So talking to people, changing your mindset, exposing yourself to new things, new
possibilities.
And I think your question came in because anything that has advantage has disadvantage. So it's up to you to control yourself. For instance, it has happened to me before. I was on a motorbike. I was like, hey, just imagine car hits you. Where are you going? Then I started praying. That's what mostly I do. Then I'll start praying and say, oh God, it will never happen to me. So these are some of the steps I think we should, follow. When these things come in, counter them with that same imagination. Say that no, it won't happen to me, because some of them are not that normal that we think. Oh, okay, you can imagine good, so you can imagine bad. No, why not go for the positive? You see that? So when they come in, I think people have to do whatever they can to conquer that in their mind before it appears, because it can appear. Because you are dreaming it, you want to have a feel of it, you will feel it. And so
do you want to talk regarding the same topic?
You don't have
to add something.
Sure.
And I also believe it's as a result of people's environment, the situations and circumstances when they find themselves. So you grow up in a broken home. All you know is that your sometimes you try imagining beyond that, and you feel like your capacity, your capability doesn't extend that far. Like you can't even see yourself going there. So you feel like, okay, I came in here, so I'll just live within the paradigms of this.
Yeah.
You understand my environment and all of that. So exposure, as I was saying, to new environments helps. Actually, and there are research that back this point that people, depending on the type of environment you grow, it actually reflects on your mental health.
Exactly.
Okay. I mean, you have said it all. Very practical ways of dealing with this. I just wanted to add a tiny bit because this was something that I realized even before this podcast recently when I was reading Romans chapter 8 verse 6. I will just read it. It says, "The mind governed by the flesh is death, but the mind governed by the spirit is life and peace." And it was at that point it dawned on me that our mind, when I taught this topic to the ladies in my academy, and I told them that your mind is just an instrument that interprets. So it either interprets what your flesh is saying or what God is saying. And then sometimes your flesh can also be the devil, like you said. He whispers. He can't. As a Christian, he doesn't have power over you, so he can only influence your mind by whispering things. So your mind is that central system that interprets. So this is how I practically deal with it when it happens. Now I know when I think of something or when something comes to mind and it's evil or it's good, it's not from my mind. It's either from my flesh or it's from my spirit, or the devil is whispering through my flesh or through another means. So I know this it has helped me so far. So what happens when I start thinking evil, or what if I fall? What if I die? Or what if this happens? I already know that is my flesh that's informing me. And when I mean my flesh, I mean the body or the devil whispering through my flesh. I already know. And what do I do? That's why the Bible says that we should be transformed by the renewal of your mind. So now you'd have to renew your mind with the word of God. And so when I begin to think the evil or the things, bad possibilities, I look for what the word says about that situation. And then I now reprogram my mind by now making it to pay attention to what the Spirit is saying, which is my spirit now in sync with the Spirit of God. So I believe that, especially if you're a Christian, if you work by this, your mind can never stay polluted. You would keep getting the whispers. You can never entirely get rid of it because you're constantly hearing things from physical realm, from the spiritual realm. You're constantly hearing things. But when you can program yourself to know that whatever you are hearing is from a source, so you need to decipher which source it's from. If it's not from the Spirit, you know that you need to now renew that mind using the word of God. And you also explained it beautifully well when you said sometimes it's your experience from the home you came from and everything. So the possibilities are there, but everything would need to pass through the litmus paper of the word. So if it's not in sync with the word or consistent with the word, you have some work and reprogramming to do. So I think it helps people when they begin to imagine evil. They know that it's just a source. I don't want the source. So what kind of source do you want? Then you begin to pick from that source. And then I don't want to bring back our previous arguments because now I would say the imagination has come and you're imagining evil, but then you need the knowledge of the word to help change that reality, that narrative, because even the evil narrative that is coming from the knowledge of something.
Thank you.
I would say the Bible is actually we are like students. We Christians, that's like our student handbook. Because it's, as you were saying, it's the mind is actually interpreting what the flesh wants. Right? And let me blow your mind with one fact about the mind. What we see is actually not what is. Like the colors we are seeing right now, they're actually not the colors that's our mind interpreting the wavelength of light that is bouncing back into our retina. Right? It goes through the whole process in our mind. So there's that transformation, that interpretation, right, of the data we collected. So I think it all stems from the data we are getting. So you are getting an info, you are getting whispers, you decipher it. Is it a good thing? So in your head, you run simulations about it. It's not leading to a good outcome. You do away with that, right? And sometimes our flesh will fail us. That's why you have to also lean on God. For situations like that, you can't entirely rest on your strength, because as humans, our strength will definitely fail us at some point. So
Okay, thank you very much. And I wanted to ask this question earlier on, but still let me ask. can you imagine positive things or good and later land yourself in danger?
Imagination. That's what I mean to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very nice. I wanted to bring this quote in by Pablo Picasso. He's one of the greatest philosophers. He said that everything you can imagine is real. Everything you can imagine is real.
All right. So I will take.
I mean, I did not understand it, so I don't know if you people
Okay.
can
Let
come
him
in.
give us a
Mm.
say.
So let's take it back to 19th century, 20th century.
Mm.
So the first inventions of the computer was this big, massive thing. So if you wanted to use a computer, you actually have to go to the computer, and then it could occupy this room, right?
Sure, big.
Very big. Right? Compared to now, the operating capacity was like very good.
Yeah.
I mean, if you saw a 5 megabyte storage device, there it could go on fit on a truck. I mean, right now 5 megabytes, you don't even save a photo.
Yes.
But then you looked at this thing, people looked at this, right? And then they got the idea, what if, right? Instead of storing of one, we could actually make one computer communicate with another. Right. Then now you have to create two. You have to heater or connect one computer to another. Now it's too big. Coming still in the mind. So how do we make this mobile? Right? How do we make this less chunky? Because yes, we are working with it. This our current situation. This is what we have to work with. But going for it, no. I look at this now. It's like we can make this a little less chunkier and boost their operating capacity. Right. So now we come to mainframes, and then those, even to this day, they are still big, very big.
Yeah.
And then now there's radio frequency. So how to make us communicate, right? Now we need to have someone thought about this. Imagine we could all move about, but then we would still be carrying computers, but not as chunky as the ones you have.
Yeah.
And then there were those old big phones. I don't know if you saw those phones. They are like very big. Like very
Phones?
chunky. Yeah, phones. You're Gen Z, so I mean,
Yeah.
they were very big.
Who is a Gen Z? And you are what?
Yeah, I'm not talking about you. So, stemming from that, right? You look at this and you go. So, the imagination is what creates this continual updates.
Yeah.
I want to use that word for that. Updates, right? To this day, our phones, the gadgets we even use, you say like you can make it better. Now you think of ways
Sure.
to make it better. Visual inference. Think of ways to make it better. First it happens and then materializes. That's what I'm saying. Imagination is the prerequisites to everything we see. Everything tangible, even intangible.
Yeah.
Right. So now, stemming from that question,
Yeah.
right? So it was imagination that even led. I could say imagination is the driving force to evolution, because you see a problem, and then if the knowledge you have, right, cannot solve that problem, then now you have to infer, go beyond. And then that's where imagination comes into play. But imagination doesn't actually come into play. It's there. You just tap into it. So it's like frequency. There are frequencies in this room. Right? But if you have a receiver tuned to a particular frequency, you can hear what that's transmitting.
Sure.
Right. So imagination is
Wow, it's crazy.
crazy. I think the power goes beyond what we can even
Yes. You've explained it beautifully well.
Mm.
I have a question though.
Okay.
I think talking about imagination, we've been limiting it to just innovative imagination, like
Creative.
creating
I think we're trying to make it
something.
more practical. That's
Yeah.
right.
So with imagination, people also imagine good and evil.
Yeah.
People imagine success and failure.
Yeah.
So what will we talk about imagination in this regard? Let's say for someone who is imagining a lot of. I remember one time I was working with a friend of mine, and she was like, "I'm just imagining myself going to stand in the middle of the road and the car just hitting me. I can feel that." So people have imaginations that are crazy and wild. The person who invented evil is out of imagination too. The evil we see in the world. Someone thought, how can I destroy? How can I bomb the nation? Although some bombs are for a good cause. I don't know. Don't quote me. I didn't say that. But people also imagine evil or failure or low self-esteem or the worst possible scenario. Okay, so how do we address that?
Okay, let me come in with this. Last Sunday you were in church, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I was with the pastor. Let me say that. He wanted to say something, but later on, like he decreated it. He wanted to say that what we speak is more powerful than prayer. If you realize
Yeah,
that.
he said that.
But later on, he made something. Then it becomes like prayer and what we speak is the same. But I could see that he was making emphasis on what we speak.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be always when we go to an altar, then we dress well, and we realize that that's when our words becomes powerful.
Right.
Wherever you stand, wherever you are, your works are very powerful. So I see that for what you are saying, it may be that some are spiritual backings. For instance, somebody wants to kill the person. Do you get it? And he knows that unless he works on his or her mind, it becomes very difficult. For instance, I want you to commit suicide. I have to work on your mind before. So I have to do something to torture you so that you start speaking things. And this world is full of spirits. It's either you are saying good or bad. They pick it and work with it. Do you get it? So I have this total belief that what we speak, they are very powerful, as like what we were saying in the beginning, and they are all imagination, either good or bad. And if it is not a spiritual backing, or let's say somebody is trying to destroy that person spiritually, I think that you shouldn't imagine that way. And I think that no normal person on this earth will do that.
That was just an example, though. There are other, let's say, lesser evil. Let me. Okay, for example, I have a presentation, and then I'm imagining the worst case scenario. Everybody will start laughing at me. I will make a mistake. I'll flop. I'll fall when I'm about. Oh God! So sometimes when I'm climbing the stage, I'm like, what if I fall?
It's very common with Africans. You see somebody standing on the top and say, "Hey, I'll go into top."
So aside from the spiritual backing and the pronunciation,
I understand.
How will someone like that tackle?
Right. So with imagination, it's a mental construct.
Yeah.
Right? And then the thing about mental construct is it's flexible. You can change it. Right. So you keep building the habits that profiles you, and then that becomes you. Right. So take depression, anxiety. They are imagined. Right. So you are forming the worst case scenario in your head. Right. In the imagination. So you are visualizing yourself as being someone being someone who is a failure, being all of that. Right. And then the thing about imagination is, as we previously said, your mind, right? Your subconscious cannot differentiate what's real from what you're imagining. So with that, if you're imagining something, you have the stimuli as if it's actually happening to you. Right, so that's how someone can be depressed and the person will be crying. People will be watching movies and then relate it to their experiences and be crying.
Sometimes you don't even need to relate it.
Sometimes I just really emotional, but then emotions are not that. They actually they stem from imagination. Right?